But Professor Vally Padayachee, who has occupied senior positions at City Power and Eskom, and so understands this place really, really well. Prof. Padayachee, as always, good morning, and thank you for being with us. It's nice to have somebody in the studio with me. I think let's just start with Ramokgopa's main idea, which was structural load shedding is over, and the scope for catastrophic failure in the system now is limited. I know that it's hard to talk about relationships when we're in extreme crisis all the time. We just want to see a return to normality. But maybe just talk to us about the broader reassurances and Eskom's return to stability and staying on that path.
Good morning, Imam, to you and the viewers, and I'm glad to be back. Yes, I was very impressed with the minister. I think as the minister, he was able to distill the concerns, etc., and he mentioned his points. Yes, I think for me, I fully agree with the minister that they moved away from the structural load shedding, etc. But what is concerning for me, which I think the minister is also touching on it, is that we are now experiencing problems that we shouldn't be experiencing after so many years of load shedding and experience. In other words, what he's saying is that it's not the engineering, it's not the technical aspects, it's the people aspects. People aspects, I'm including the performance of contractors in terms of the maintenance. So let's get there. So the root cause of this load shedding is the non-return of service of planned maintenance. They put a lot of effort in the last few months to get planned maintenance up and running in preparation for this winter. But to get to the point, as he mentioned, there's 3,100 megawatts that have not come back. So that's put a big crunch on the grid. So to summarize, the people issues, both internal with regards to maintenance and the contractors, was alluded to. And then, of course, we had the two big units. I see the CEO mentioned that. There was Kusila and Letabo that also caused this load shedding.
It's interesting you talk about the people element. I don't know if you want to tease that out just a little bit more, because it is quite a crucial loss, the loss of that 3,120 megawatts in generation units. So how does, one would think that would be the easier fix, right?
Well, I think in fairness to the contractors, they're also under pressure to return units back to service.
Yeah.
Right, and I've always said this, that the contractors are also humans, and if they are pushed in this crisis situation like we are in, they will cut corners. Okay, so I think, and there's also skills issues. I see even the CEO alluded to that, and the minister. So there's even skills gaps within the contractors. And bear in mind, Imam, that the generation business, engineering, is a very complex business. You've got to have highly competent people, right? And this is where the skills gap in terms of contractors, for example, and people that are doing the maintenance is coming back to bite Eskom.
And as you say, one has to appreciate the acknowledgement then from Eskom that these are their problems. As you say, they've correctly diagnosed it. And part of the path to recovery is being able to accurately diagnose what the issues are and the obstacles are.
In fact, just to allude to the point, the chairman in the Winter Outlook, when he introduced the Winter Outlook, actually talked about the people aspect, where they need to move to a high-performance sort of culture. So, and maybe I should make a point before we forget it. I think Eskom, and I made this point about a year ago, Eskom should adopt, and I'm saying it categorically, should adopt the maintenance philosophy of the aircraft industry. The aircraft industry, as we know, for obvious reasons, has a very robust, high-level, intensive maintenance philosophy that of course, leads to them being the best and the safest industry to be in. And I'm of the opinion that Eskom should adopt aspects of it, not the entire thing, aspects of it, so that we can arrest the challenges and the problems that's emanating from the contractors especially, and the maintenance crew, who are forced to work at intense pressure.
I think that this is worth coming back to a bigger conversation just about both, because we know that and you talked about Dr. Teto now, creating a new culture of excellence at Eskom and why it will help their future prospects in terms of their longer-term strategy. But let's get back to how this load shedding and stage 2 is going to impact us from an economic and even a residential perspective. With these unplanned breakdowns causing an additional loss of 1,385 megawatts of power in just 24 hours, what does it say from an outsider's perspective and somebody who's also been on the inside about the reliability and resilience of Eskom's generation fleet, especially during the peak winter demand?
Let me be blunt about it and give you an independent view. I'm actually a bit worried because I said this on another interview, that I was surprised that we got into load shedding so early, meaning in the middle of May. I would expect this to be in the middle of winter, which is normally end of June and third week in July. So if we're having these challenges now, when the demand is slightly lower, the maximum demand, if we get into middle of winter, where the maximum demand is high, I'm just concerned that we may end up with load shedding. And I've always said that we may get up to stage 3, but I'm not sure. We could go beyond stage 3. Albeit the minister said we're getting back about 2,500 megawatts. But that's fine, that's excellent. But you cannot break units. And you cannot allow units that have been repaired to break down sooner and often.
Well, they've got this new operational excellence program, right, which they've talked about periodically, and that's been attributed as being a key driver for the recovery and the turnaround at Eskom. In your view, what practical impact can such a program have on improving the system performance in the long and short term? I mean, given already, as you say, you have your doubts about how they can deliver and keep the lights on in the winter.
Maybe the quick thing, they have an excellent generation plan. They have an excellent operational plan. They have an excellent maintenance plan. I know that because I work with Eskom. But all of these programs, like any system, you need people. And I mentioned to you that the generation business is a very complex business, very complex technical business. It needs high-performance culture. And by the admission of Eskom, from leadership and the minister, I'm repeating it, we have a people skilled issue, maybe not in all areas, but maybe in the core areas. And it seems to be in the maintenance arena. And that's why I'm saying that they should try and adopt the maintenance philosophy of the aircraft industry. At least it will arrest some of the issues, especially now when they've come back from that rampant load shedding and they're getting up to a state where we can get to normality. Because even the minister said at the winter outlook that we want to transition from load shedding to energy security, which is excellent.
Yeah.
We want to get away from load shedding, right? Because for various other reasons.
And we want to get out of crisis. Prof. Padayachee, I've got to leave it there, but always appreciate you coming in and sharing your perspective.